Hello class, this is Mr. Wexler. We're learning about quadratic functions and transformations. This is chapter 4. These are the notes for chapter 4. First vocab word of chapter 4 is vertex. What is a vertex? Here's the word right here. Vertex is the meeting point of two lines, usually the top or the bottom value. The vertex is very important because it also has the axis of symmetry, which is a new word we'll be learning way down here, right? It'll split a graph in half. So the axis of symmetry is also the x-line of the x-line of the vertex. So this is the axis of symmetry for all these. You also want to find the vertex. So the vertex here is 0, 0. The vertex here is 0 over 1, 2, 3. So 0, 3 is the graph of the vertex. And this vertex is 2, 1, 2, 3 down. So 2, negative 3. Let's go through some vocab words. Parabola. Parabola is going to look not like the ones above, which we had the absolute value vertexes, which are V's, but the parabola is going to be a U. This is a positive parabola. It opens upward. And you have a negative parabola, which opens downward. So this has a positive A value, and this has a negative A value, and they both should be lowercase. And the A value we'll learn is right here. So this first quadratic function, that's the A value. Also, you're going to learn something they teach later is the vertex form. And we're going to use that more than anything else in this because you can find the vertex by using this form. And the vertex form is y equals a parentheses x minus h in parentheses squared plus k. And your vertex in this is going to be written as a negative h k. It's the same thing as saying negative xy, really. But we use those letters here to know the vertex. And if you have a negative here, you're going to switch it to a positive. If you have a positive here, you'll switch it to a negative. So this h value here, the sign will always switch when you do that. So your words, vertex, axis of symmetry, quadratic function. The definition, a parabola is a graph of a quadratic function, a function of the form, and here's the standard form right there. Main idea, a parabola is symmetrical around its axis of symmetry, which we talked about. It goes straight through. This is the y, and this is again the y is the AOS. They abbreviate that by saying the AOS. And it'll always be the x value down here. So if the x value up here was, you saw these were zeros, so the axis of symmetry is going to be a 0. If the x value is negative 2, the axis of symmetry would be negative 2. Not that bad. A parabola can also open upward and downward, we talked about. Remember, this is a positive A, this is a negative A. Circle each function of graph who is a parabola. Remember, the parabola needs to look like this right here. This does not look like this. It doesn't have a square. This does have a square, 1x and a c, so this is correct. This has an x squared, an x, and a c, so this is correct. This does not have an x squared, so it is not a parabola. That's the main difference between anything else we've learned before is the x squared is huge for the parabolas. Cross out the function whose graph is not a parabola again. All right, so which ones are not? This one has an x squared, an x, and a c, so that's correct. This one does not, so we're going to cross it off. Yes, no. Okay, page 2. Problem 2, graphing translations of function of x equals x squared. And x squared is our parent function for parabolas. This is our parent function. And this is the blue right here, the blue. It's in blue. So we have two graphs here. The parent function in blue, we have the new function in red. And the red one looks like this. And the main difference is the plus 3 at the end. The only difference is plus 3. And this has nothing plus to it, so it is a 0, 0 vertex. And this one has a 0, 3 vertex because you just go up 3. So all this graph does is go up 3, plus 3 units up. Circle the order pairs that are solutions for these. So we're not going to do this part, but I'll give you the answer. 0, 0 is right there. 0, 3 is right here. 3, 9, you can't see it. It's off the graph. It's up there. And 3, 12 is also off the graph. It's up here. So I'm not going to show you those because they're not on the graph, and I think it's a waste of our time. For each of the values of x, the value of g of x equals x squared plus 3 is 3 more or 3 less. Well, it says plus 3, so it's going to be 3 more. The graph of g of x, x squared plus 3, is translation of 3 units what? How much does this go up or down? Well, it looks like it's 3 units up. The graph of function of x equals x squared is in red or blue. Well, we already described that. It's in blue. The function's in blue. I set up here. And the new function is in red, right here. Okay, problem 3, interpreting the vertex form. This is when they actually introduced the vertex form for you guys. What are the vertex, axis of symmetry, minimum, maximum, and domain and range of the function? These are questions they're always going to ask when you learn parabolas. So the vertex we know is the point. The axis of symmetry is the x value of the point. The minimum or maximum is if it goes up, that's the max. If it goes plus, right, it'll be a minimum. So this is min, this is a max, because the vertex is a max point. This is a minimum point. And the domain and range. The domain, you know, is all x values. And the answer for that is always going to be all real numbers. And you're going to write that like this. In the range will be the y values. And that is usually written x is less than or greater than 3 or something like that. X is less than -2, something like that. And let's show you that in a second. So what is the a? The a in this one is going to be -2. What is the h? The h comes from right there, and that's a -1. And the k comes from that, and that's a 4. Remember, it's always the opposite you see. The vertex of the parabola is, all it is the h and the k. So we have -1 and 4. And the AOS, right, is just the x value. So what is the x value? It is -1. That's the axis of symmetry. It's what splits the graph in half. Number 9, underline the correct word or symbol to complete each sentence. Since a is less than or greater than 0, well, we know a is less than 0. The parabola opens up or down? It opens down. It's a negative, right? A negative is going to look like this. Negative. Opens down. Sometimes you have to draw it to understand it. The parabola has a maximum value. Remember, this is the maximum value up here. Value of 4. Here's the 4, right? -1, 4 is right here. When x is -1 right there. Circle the domain. The domain is always all real numbers. Circle the range. The range here is x is less than or equal to 4. It's because here's x. It's going to be all the numbers less than that. All right, turn the page. Number 12. Translation of the parabola. Use one of the functions below to graph each graph, to label each graph. So we're going to look at these, and we're going to take the ones from the top. We're going to figure out which ones they go with. So this is like multiple choice, basically. Kind of hard to understand. So you're going to take this one and put it one of these. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 options. So the first one, you have a graph of -1, -2. We're going to do the vertex to help us solve these. This one is 0, -1, right here. This one is 1, 2, 3, -3, 0. And the last one is 2, 1, 2, 3, up, 2, 3. So let's look at these. First one, the vertex is -1, 2. Which one has a -1, 2? Oh, -1, -2. So we look at this one, no. This one, no. This one, no. Oh, there it is, 1, -2. So you can write that there. y equals x plus 1 squared minus 2. Remember, this value here always switch the sign. It's a negative h. So that's why that sign is switched right there. This vertex is 0, negative 1. The only one it could be is y equals x squared minus 1. Here's your negative 1. Since there's a 0 here, we don't have to do the parentheses. So it's not x plus anything. So that's why it's written that way. This one is negative 3, 0. So the y is a 0. So it'd be nothing at the end. So it has to be this first one here. Y equals x plus 3 squared. And you could write it plus 0 so you can see that y is a 0. But you don't have to. And the last one is 2, 3. Which one has a 2 and a 3 in it? It has to be this one right here. So y equals x minus 2 squared plus 3. Remember, this sign was switched from here. That's how you write it in vertex form. Okay, number 13. Multiple choice. What steps transform the graph of y equals x squared to y equals 2 quantity x plus 2 squared minus 5? And the only one it could be is C, because you stretch it by a factor of 2. Remember, this is your stretch. So that's correct. 2 units to the left, right there, 2 units negative, then 5 units down. That's 5 units down. So that's the correct answer. Number 14, circle the graph that has stretch of 2. It's positive. So you know this one and this one are going to be wrong. And then it has a vertex of negative 2, negative 5. Well, here's negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negative. So this has got to be the right one. Let's double check this one. This is positive 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is not right because this is positive 2, 5 is the vertex. All right, almost done. Number 5, write a quadratic function in vertex form. And this is somebody, a dolphin, jumping. So here's their starting point. And the dolphin jumping and coming down. Remember, they start at the water and they'll go actually underneath the water sometimes. They also show these same kind of graphs with a person throwing a ball. So here's a person, here's their ball, and they throw it, and it's going to go and come back down. And they graph that. So this is used for graphing balls, jumping, things like that a lot of times. So what is the vertex? The vertex is the highest point. So it's 2, 7. The vertex is 2, 7. Substitute h and k in the written vertex form of function of x equals a x minus h squared plus k. So that's your vertex form. Now we're just going to put these letters into here. Right? So remember, you take this and put 2 here and put 7 there. That's all. 17 and 18 we're not going to do. Lesson check. Do you understand what we just learned? These are very simple questions. The graph of x squared is the parent function opens up or down, right? So this is y equals x squared. This is y equals negative x squared, okay? So which way does this open? You answer that. The graph of this next graph of y equals negative x squared opens up or down. Obviously, this one opens up. This one opens down. So I just gave you those answers right in the correct places, right here and there. When does the graph of a quadratic function have a minimum value? So again, you need to discuss the minimum value. Which one has a minimum value? And it's this one here. That's the smallest value. That's the minimum. This is also on your quiz. And this is the maximum value. Max value. Write that down here of the minimum value. Write what that graph does, looks like right there, and you have successfully completed 4-1.